Latin America has seen a lot of changes in recent years, some of which include China, which has become a major trading partner. 19 Latin American and Caribbean countries have signed to the Belt and Road Initiative in the past 2 years. But also traditional partnerships with the United States have been shifting since the election of President Trump. The longest conflict in the region came to an end with the signing of the peace accord between the Colombian government and the FARC in November 2016. But we've also seen the reverse, or the come down, of the rise of Brazil, and the 2017 to 19 super cycle of elections was marked by anti-vote and a move towards populism as a result of frustration with persistent socio-economic inequalities and reducing trust levels in governments across the region. And in addition to these changes, we must also be aware of some specific development and security characteristics in Latin America. For example, it is home to some of the most densely populated cities in the globe. Sao Paulo and Mexico City are in the top 5. It's also one of the regions with the highest shares of informal economy. A reported 55% of employees in Latin America are informally employed. It is also at the epicenter of an estimated $650 billion a year global drug industry. In terms of armed groups and militias, a 2018 survey placed the Americas with the highest percentage of civilian-owned arms in the world, with Brazil and Mexico in the 6th and 7th place, respectively. And amongst human security challenges, according to ReliefWeb, Latin America has the highest rates of gender-based violence in the world, and 3 of the countries with very high rates, Brazil, Peru, and Mexico, are among those most affected by COVID. And we all know we have seen a worsening of domestic violence across the globe as a result of some of the lockdown and confinement policies. Now, on the pandemic itself, I've taken some rates from the Johns Hopkins tracker this morning. Jean-Marc spoke about Latin America as a whole. Here I have the rates for the 4 countries that are mainly affected from Latin America. And as you can see, Brazil, Peru, Chile, and Mexico alone, we have over 1.2 million infected, fatalities at over 60,000. There are also over 700,000 recovered, and Chile has quite high rates in particular. But as you can see, the majority of infections and fatalities are in Brazil, which currently has the highest infection rates across the globe. And so it's for this reason, as Jean-Marc mentioned, Latin America has become a new epicenter for the pandemic, according to the World Health Organization. So while the impact in Latin America has still to be fully comprehended, this context is indicative of the enormous challenge ahead. Current analyses are quite pessimistic, with an expected worst recession in 50 years, according to the IMF, that is expected also to exacerbate existing inequalities, corruption, violence, and crime. But despite the overwhelming challenges, the outlook is not only pessimistic. As in other regions, the pandemic is seen as a potential catalyst to finally make long-needed changes to ineffective government mechanisms. There is this idea to harness the crisis by being bold in developing new approaches, to redesign the social pact for stronger, more inclusive social protection and growth, and to develop effective policies for a more resilient approach to security. And so multiple futures are still possible, but understanding the impact of COVID is the first step in order to better respond to it. And on that note, this webinar is intended to provide an overview of the current economic and security impact of COVID-19 at the state, urban, and individual level in Latin America, as well as the expected future trajectory. And in doing so, it will include a discussion of approaches for mitigation and/or opportunities for change as relevant.